Good morning, everyone. This is the team here from Shaping Ourselves and Our Children, and we're so delighted to be here with you this morning to talk about attachment and bonding. I'm going to quickly introduce everyone and then we'll get the ball rolling, because an hour is a very short space of time and we will fly through this. So the first person going to talk to you is Veronica, and she's going to talk to you about attachment theory and how important it is within relationships. Charlene then is going to talk to us about living through the pandemic and positive things we can do in order to help our children and ourselves cope through this pandemic. Myself, I will be talking about bonding and how we actually can bond with our children, our babies, and actually how we bond with people in general. Then Lynn is going to share her wonderful video on baby massage. And you will find this really relaxing too, so you're in for a real treat. And then we're going to finish our session with Dr. Polly McClanahan, who is going to answer a few of your questions that come in. So if you do have any questions, just pop them into the chat and we will do our best to try and answer all the questions that come in. So starting off now, we have Veronica, and she is going to talk to you about attachment theory. We really do hope you enjoy this session. Thanks.
Hi everybody, my name is Veronica, and it's really nice to be here, and as Mary says, I'd like to welcome everybody here today. So I'm going to chat to you today about attachment and relationships. Mary has already discussed the content of what we're going to talk about today, so I'm going to just move over that. So attachment, what is attachment? Attachment is the emotional bond that forms between mother and primary caregiver and baby. Babies are born with an innate drive to seek safety and security from the protective caregiver or their mother. Sorry, the joys of technology, I'm afraid. These are a tense and positive relationship that develops over time. How does attachment form? Attachment forms through simple, everyday interactions as the caregiver attends to an infant's needs, simply through changing, feeding, or playing. These are opportunities you have for the emotional bond to grow by showing your child love, warmth, and care. Babies' behaviours act as cues to attract the mother, whether they're cooing or crying, some nice, some not so nice that you want to hear, leaving caregivers to know that their baby wants them. So the caregiver of the mother approaches the baby and responds to the baby's need. Attachments are formed with those adults who respond actively to the baby's signals. If a mother who is physically and emotionally available spends lots of time cuddling, gazing at their baby who responds by babbling and smiling, this is known as the two-way interaction and is where attachment develops. Just remember, be in the moment by just noticing and responding to your baby's needs. And this will act as a memory bank for them that helps your baby through life's challenges. Attachment theory, you may have heard, it was formulated by John Bowlby. He described attachment as a lasting psychological connectedness between human beings. John Bowlby, when he was working as a psychiatrist with children who had emotional difficulties in London, he discovered his experience was that the importance of the child's relationship with their mother in terms of their social, emotional, and cognitive development. This shaped Bowlby's belief about the link about the early infant separations between the mother and later maladjustment, leading Bowlby to formulate his attachment theory. Bowlby observed infants that would go to extraordinary lengths to prevent separation from their parents, and they just wanted to be close to the parent. The earliest forms formed in this as a baby and an infant stage significantly have long-lasting effects throughout life. Muted myself, apologies everybody. We're just going to look at the 4 attachment styles Bowlby devised. So the first one is secure attachment, and this we would be focusing on and would be hoping for every child to have a secure attachment style growing up. Secure attachment style is when the mother or the primary caregiver is responsive and sensitive to and consistently responds accurately to the needs of the child. This is where there's physical contact. The mother primary caregiver is emotionally attuned to the needs of the child and is in a safe environment. Children who have secure attachment style grow up to regulate distress. They know their needs and feelings will be accepted and met. So this will form later good social skills, self-esteem. They will be able to empathise with others and will be generally healthy and have good mental health in life. The second attachment style is insecure avoidant attachment. This occurs when the mother finds it difficult to respond to the infant's needs. Due to this, the child sees themselves as not loved. And because of this, they develop fewer social skills, become anxious, and be very independent and do not rely on others. They also become withdrawn, quiet, and anxious. Bowlby's third attachment style is insecure ambivalent attachment. This is where the mother or the primary caregiver responds inconsistently to baby's needs. A child who develops insecure ambivalent attachment in later life will become clingy, they'll be insecure in themselves, they'll find it hard to interact with others, they won't be able to focus, and they will ask a lot of questions and will need a lot of reassurance. The last attachment style by Bowlby is disorganized attachment. This is where there is a mixed response by the mother or the primary caregiver. Sometimes it can be positive, sometimes it can be negative. But a baby or infant is actually afraid of this. Because of this, the child is not able to organize their own behavior. And in the future, they're not able to regulate their own emotions, be able to express their own emotions. And they will be angry, depressed, not able to follow directions, short fuse, difficulty making friends. So basically, they will just be disorganized. Basically, we'll be hoping a secure attachment style for a child will benefit a child, and they will become a happy and functional adult. Now we're just going to take a wee minute. You may have heard of this video. It's very, very popular. It's called the Still Face Experiment. And I'm just going to play it here shortly. It's a very, very powerful and moving video.
Young are extremely.
Sorry, folks, for a minute. Just getting used to this here now. Hopefully, you'll all to see this now.
Babies this young are extremely responsive to the emotions and the reactivity and the social interaction that they get from the world around them. This is something that we started studying 30, 40 years ago, when people didn't think that infants could engage in social interaction. In the still face experiment, what the mother did was she sits down and she's playing with her baby, who's about a year of age.
I'm like a girl. Oh.
And she gives a greeting to the baby gives a greeting back to her.
Yeah.
This baby starts pointing at different places in the world, and the mother's trying to engage her and play with her. They're working to coordinate their emotions and their intentions, what they want to do in the world. And that's really what the baby is used to. And then we ask the mother to not respond to the baby. The baby very quickly picks up on this, and then she uses all of her abilities to try and get the mother back. She smiles at the mother. She points because she's used to the mother looking where she points. The baby puts both hands up in front of her and says, "What's happening here?" She makes that screechy sound at the mother, like, come on, why aren't we doing this? Even in this 2 minutes, when they don't get the normal reaction, they react with negative emotions, they turn away, they feel the stress of it, they actually may lose control of their posture because of the stress that they're experiencing.
Okay. I'm here. And what are you doing? Oh, yes. Oh, what a big girl.
It's a little like the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is that normal stuff that goes on, that we all do with our kids. The bad is when something bad happens, but the infant can overcome it. After all, when you stop the still face, the mother and the baby start to play again. The ugly is when you don't give the child any chance to get back to the good. There's no reparation, and they're stuck in that really ugly situation.
Now, I'm sure, as you noticed, it's a very powerful video and it impacts you. And it just gives you an example of how important our need for connection is from a very, very early age. It also shows an insight how parents' reactions affect the emotional development of the baby. And just even note that, just remember that parents who don't respond to their child for short terms, like if you're turning the oven off or responding to another child, this is not going to negatively have a negative lasting impact on your child's development. Just going to look through the impact of attachment. Sorry, just the screen there. So attachment provides an infant's first coping system. You might have heard the saying Aristotle was, give me a child until he's 7 and I will show you man. Aristotle wasn't far wrong. It's actually the first 5 years of a child's life that actually the foundation that shapes children's future health, their happiness, their social, emotional, and cognitive development, achievement at school, family, and community. That in a nutshell just shows how important the first 5 years of a child's life is. And the crux of that, it actually starts with attachment and bonding. Early attachment relations are also important for relationships, developments of capacities for emotional stress regulation and self-control. Attachments in early experiences also includes our return and working model, our core beliefs. So basically, this is how our lens on how we view our sense of self, others, and the world. So this, our sense of others and how we view ourselves. If we have a negative view of ourselves or a negative view of others or a negative view of the world, that's the lens we would be viewing every relationship with. The most important relationship is early attachment through the mother and caregiver child relationships, the first and the most important relationship. Early attachments mold our future relationships and our ability to form and sustain healthy interpersonal relationships throughout our whole life. If children don't get the opportunity to form good attachments for whatever reason, they have a risk of developing poor internal working models, so a poor core belief about themselves, which will negatively impact their view of others and it would be actually negatively impact their ability to form relationships with other people. As children grow up, they have opportunities to form and sustain relationships, be that with peers, parents, teachers. All these relationships are very, very important and they're crucial to the development of the social and emotional development of a child. Secure attachment with toddlers have the opportunity to extend attachment relationships to siblings and close adults. This is where they play out their attachment styles that they have formed as a baby and an infant. In preschool and primary years, securely attached children can empathize with others, regulate their own emotions, cooperate with others, and form relationships with peers. In adolescence, secure attachment attained. If an adolescent is securely attached, had a secure attachment style as a child, they'll be less likely to engage in excessive drinking, drug use, risky sexual behaviours, and have fewer mental health problems. Now, if a child has insecure attachment style, obviously these will flip that over and then have the opposite effect. So if we look at the impact of attachment on relationships, secure attachment in childhood defines and actually moves how an adult interacts and forms their relationships as an adult. So secure attachment in childhood has positive outcomes in adulthood. For example, positive sense of self-confidence, confidence, trusting in others, they're open, they have healthy positive relationships, good mental health and well-being, success in romantic working relationships, they have a positive view of others, they're socially include other people, they have good social skills, they're able to regulate and express emotions, they're empathetic and trust others. On the other hand, if a child forms insecure attachment styles or ambivalent attachment style or a disorganized attachment style, they will have negative outcomes in adulthood. They will have a negative sense of self-confidence, they will have poor coping strategies, some will be very dysfunctional, drinking, drugs, etc. They will have poor mental health and well-being, they'll have higher risk of anxiety, depression. They will have difficulties engaging in romantic and work relationships and friendships. They will actually have a fear of intimacy. They will have a negative view of others. They will be withdrawn socially. They'll have difficulty even connecting to others. They will actually avoid emotional closeness in relationships. They won't be able to express their emotions. They actually suppress their emotions. They fear rejection and lack empathy, and they also lack trust of others. So if we look at a secure attachment in childhood, it allows children to view the word, attachment and community. Secure attachment in childhood allows children to view the world as a safe place, and themselves are responsive, caring, confident, reliable, and worthy of love and attention. Children who have formed secure attachment styles, they trust others, they're able to regulate emotions, they appreciate differences in others, they're inclusive of others, they respect diversity, which promotes good social and community relations. In contrast, an insecurely attached child, or at this in later life, an adult, may view the world as a dangerous place in which other people are to be treated with caution and themselves are not worthy of attention and love. They fear and distrust others. They're unable to regulate their emotions. They're afraid of differences, intolerant of others. They promote poor social and community relations as they are unable to engage with other people. Overall, this shows you the importance of attachment and the importance of that early primary caregiver and mother relationship, and actually how it defines a child's future health and well-being in their future relationships. So overall, secure attachment in children is the foundational block in forming and sustaining healthy future relationships and raising happy functional adults to engage and prosper in the diverse and social and cultural society. And that's all any parent or caregiver wants from their child. So that's all for me, and I'm going to pass you over to Charlene, who's going to talk about positive parenting in a pandemic. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everybody. As Veronica said, I'm going to have a wee talk to you now about how positive attachment helps to manage stress in this pandemic. So, parenting, one of the best, most rewarding, wonderful, stressful jobs in the world. What's not to love? Now, throw a pandemic into the mix. We're now approaching the 1-year mark of living within a pandemic. It certainly has not been an easy time, and unfortunately, it has been much more difficult for some. Parenting has its stresses in normal times, and this is significantly increased by countless lockdowns, missing contact with family and friends, not to mention the worry of actually contracting COVID. Family life has changed. We're all living in bubbles, missing contact with close family and friends, not to mention, family life has changed. We're all living in bubbles. We as adults are finding it difficult just to imagine how young children are feeling, and it's regardless of any age. We all manage our emotions differently. Children are the same. They will not just say, I'm worried, but instead display other behaviours. You can get angry, a lot of shouting, hitting out, or display aggressive behaviour. Clingy, want constant attention or to be with you at all times. Bedwetting is maybe something new for some children. Withdrawn, become more quiet, indifference to activities or like to be alone. Panic, gets very annoyed and scared and stressed over little things. Sleep disturbance, may wake during the night, find it difficult getting to sleep. Anxious, always worried, develop little traits such as nail biting, fidgeting, nipping or pulling their hair. Regression, go back in stages of development such as their talking, eating, sleeping and toileting. It is important that we look out for any changes in behaviour, as sometimes we may not even notice these until they become so overwhelmed, which can make it much more difficult and longer to overcome. Be mindful of how you react to their outbursts, tantrums or worries. How you feel or how you manage this can either increase or decrease anxiety levels for all. Fighting fire with fire doesn't work. Allow time to calm down for everyone, and most importantly, choose your battles. Think about this in the grand scheme of things. Remember, you're the adult. Model how you would like them to behave. So what can we as parents do? First of all, communication is key. We need to be supportive. Listen to any concerns and validate all emotions. Let them know you understand how they are feeling, and together you will get through this. Talk to them openly about COVID. Give them clear information or facts, all in an appropriate to their age. Tell them how they can help through hand washing, using sanitizer, masks, staying at home. Limit the amount of unnecessary news that comes into your home. Children listen and hear everything, and this can often cause worry if they don't fully understand it. Talk about what happens if they or someone they know may become sick. The possibility of maybe having to go into hospital, where the kind doctors and nurses will help make them all feel better again. Try wherever possible to avoid separation from family or caregivers. If they aren't in your bubble, talk to them on the phone regularly. Use video chats to play games, have stories, or just catch up. Try to maintain a familiar routine. This will promote a feeling of safety and security. In a world that has so many unknowns at the minute, this can be their constant. And make lots of time for family fun, outdoor play, and relaxation. Now, focus on the positives. It is important to have a positive mindset through all of this. Making a list of everything that is good with your child or as a family. Create a nice poster and display it somewhere as a reminder when moods are low. You can include things like, we're safe at home, we have each other, we are spending time together that we wouldn't normally have. There are so many, or an opportunity to try or learn new things and hobbies. There are so many ways we can stay in touch. Phone, emails, letters, video chats. And remember, this won't last forever. So positive, secure attachment. So as Veronica had mentioned in her earlier slides, it is basically how a child and their primary caregiver interact. Lots of families are working from home, doing homeschooling, looking after more vulnerable family members and running a home. It's such a busy time. A secure and positive attachment has never been more important, not just with our babies, but with our older children and teenagers. What are the benefits of a secure or positive attachment, particularly during a pandemic? It will help the feeling of safety and security, reduce stress and anxiety, can help to regulate emotions, establish a healthy sense of self, and encourage social and emotional competence. So how can we promote this? Firstly, we need to look at our own mental health. Just like they say on an airplane, you must put on your own life jacket before helping others. This is exactly the same. Take a break, exercise, get sufficient rest, relaxation. This may be easier said than done if your children are really young, but it really is so important. And notice what you're doing well and be proud of it. And there are lots of these examples. When things go wrong, reset and move on. Don't punish yourself or be hard on yourself. It certainly won't do any good. Think of it as an opportunity to learn. If you're a lone parent, connect and utilize your bubble. Don't be afraid to ask for help. No one is expected to do this alone. Talk to your child at an appropriate level. Give reassurance, lots of praise, hugs and kisses. Will help make up for those they are missing from other special people. Now, connect as a family. Don't be over concerned with school work. Home is a child's safe place. You are their carer. Some children find it hard to make the transition and can cause a lot of unnecessary anxiety. Make learning fun through other means. Children learn so much through play, and play in itself is a learning activity. Children are missing their friends and are having that social interaction. So why not play a little more with them? You may be surprised how much you both can learn from each other. Make time for outdoor play and exercise. This is a huge part of development and also crucial for a healthy body and mind. This will also burn off any excess energy the kids may have, meaning an easier bedtime routine, and therefore giving you some of that all-important me time. Make the most of this time. Do fun things we wouldn't normally do. We're constantly rushing around, doing endless activities, classes, lessons, music, swimming, going to the park. Bring it back to basics. Have movie nights, picnic in your living room, card games, bake-offs, talent shows, jigsaws and books, and make a farm from stuffed animals, outdoor treasure hunts, family sports days. The list is endless. The only limit is your imagination. There are lots of things we can do, not purely for entertainment, enjoyment, and learning. It's the simple things that will strengthen our bond and attachment, and perhaps provide an opportunity for reconnection with some older children. So this leads us on to what Mary is going to talk about, nurturing a positive attachment and bonding with your child. Thanks everyone for listening. So now over to you, Mary.
Thank you so much, Charlene. Yeah, and if you just give me a little second now, I am going to share my topic. Oh, and I need to really just stop share here for a second because it's not where I want it to be. And so, as Veronica says, the joys of technology. So I am going to look at bonding from the aspect of how it impacts on relationships with our children and look at it as it's an essential part of attachment. So bonding is the feeling of love and tenderness we have for our babies and children. So how do we actually bond then? We bond with our babies, our children. In fact, every relationship we have, we bond through our 5 senses: touch, smell, taste, vision, and hearing. From the day our child is born, their senses are ready and waiting for us to stimulate. I'm going to give you a quick overview on positive things that your baby and children will love. And believe me, these are the coolest things we can do for our families. The first sense is touch. Touch is a very important sense for babies, as the skin is our largest sense organ. Babies will respond positively to skin contact. Look out for opportunities to hold your baby skin to skin when feeding or cuddling them. This is very soothing for both you and baby and will help promote your baby's healthy growth and development. As your child grows older, don't forget, they still need cuddles, they still need hugs. Give them foot massages, hand massages, hold hands, cuddle whenever you get a chance. These actions provide a sense of belonging and love for your child. So the next sense is smell, another powerful sense in babies. They will soon recognize you with your smell alone. And for this reason, it can be a great source of comfort to have an item of your clothing that has been close to your skin that you can leave with your child if you need to nip out. Just it provides that smell and that reassurance. And a brilliant thing for older children too, believe it or not, just if you can even picture yourself smelling it and breathing in that scent of those we love, even if it's your partner. So the next thing too, just to think on, is the smell of our home, the foods, the bubble baths we use, the perfume we use, that all become the scent of your family. So smell, one of those very important senses. And just love these 2 pictures because I am that cruel mommy that give my young children lemons just to see the the taste on their face. But just look at it from the perspective of a young baby, first of all. At the start of life, babies are attracted to the taste of glutamate, which is found in breast milk. And of course, breast milk promotes the bond between mother and baby. Now, don't panic if you bottle feed, because glutamate is in formula milk also. Just hold your baby close and try to connect. Avoid distractions, put the phone down and make eye contact. Talk to your baby, sing to your baby, connect whenever you're feeding them. And again, as children get older, feeding still remains really important. Think on breakfast time, dinner time. Try to allow this as a time to connect. No outside distractions. You and your family enjoying the smells and taste of the food you share together is actually a very special time for families on a daily basis. Going on now to vision. And believe it or not, babies need things to be really close to their face, about 20 to 25 centimeters or 8 to 10 inches. They also respond best to human faces. So get up close to them, allow them to explore your face. Eye-to-eye contact with your baby provides meaningful non-verbal communication at that close range. Your baby will try from a very early age to try and imitate your facial expressions and your gestures. So eye-to-eye contact is such an important connection for us all. Just think on when you meet someone or you're talking to them and they don't meet your eyes. How does it make you feel? If they're on the phone and they don't meet your eyes, how does it feel to you? We don't connect. As our children grow, I'm going to keep talking about this, the progression. So as our children grow, of course, they still need the eye-to-eye contact. They need us to connect with them when we talk to them, when we play with them, eat and so on, because they feel this connection. And if we don't make eye contact, they don't feel connected to us. So I'm just thinking, as your child gets older, you can play fun games like mirroring how you're feeling. And this is a wonderful game because it allows your child not alone to try and figure out how you're feeling or for you to figure out how they're feeling. It allows them to develop the vocabulary or the words to actually outline how they are feeling, because sometimes children don't have the vocabulary to describe how they're feeling emotionally. So doing games like this is a wonderful way of connecting and bonding with your child. Now on to hearing. And from your baby is born to their young children, your voice is actually the most pleasing sound to them. So use it plenty. It is the perfect instrument for bonding. When your baby is born, you might be surprised how quickly they start to follow your voice. So if you have a young baby, try it at home and just walk around singing or talking and watch how their wee head will move and try to follow you. Babies prefer the sound of human voices. Again, we're social animals. We need that human to human contact, and they love the sound of your voice. They will also try to start copying you from a very early age, and that is their first attempts on communication. Another thing babies enjoy is hearing and feeling the rhythm of your heartbeat. Keep them close, okay? And this is something that intrigues toddlers and young children also. Take turns listening to each other's heartbeats, a lovely calming way to spend 10 minutes bonding whenever you get the chance. Talking. So again, the more you talk to your baby, the more you are actually helping their brain to develop. So not only are you bonding with them, you are actually doing great things with their brain. Research shows that children who do well in school and later in life had parents who talked to them from the get-go. What happens when you talk to your child is you are laying down the foundations of language development. And the more a child hears each word, the easier it gets for them to identify sounds and link sounds together. Take turns babbling, oohing and ahhing. All this is so important, not just for bonding, but also for developing speech and language. This is known as serve and return. Baby coos, you coo back. Your baby will love trying out all these new sounds, but remember they need to hear them from us first. So keep on talking and don't worry about repeating yourself. Babies and young children need to hear words over and over and over again in order to learn. Just think about it. They're learning a whole new language, and we're their teachers. Singing, perfect. We've just looked at the 5 senses there now, and one of the ways that you can stimulate the senses is singing. And believe it or not, your child will think you are Madonna, Cher, or whoever. I know that's showing my age there with the older singers, but they will think you are right up there with them. So sing nursery rhymes, lullabies, all songs that it doesn't matter. Just sing and enjoy the time with your child. Another cool way to bond and stimulate the senses and also provides positive brain development is, of course, reading. So there is really nothing that compares with the gift of reading to your child. It connects you and your child on an intimate level that can be sustained until they become independent readers, which simply means that they can do it by themselves. Introduce your baby to books from day one. Black and white books with bold prints, as these are easier for your baby to focus on. Just talk about the picture. You're not actually reading, you're just showing the book and talking about the picture. As your child gets older, toddlers, you're going to talk about the pictures and maybe move from left to right. You know that you're giving them that sense that we work from left to right with our books. And then there are thousands of books as your child gets older that you can share. Books with real pictures actually work really well for younger children because it gives them a sense of what is real in life. And it's also a really, really important thing given the pandemic now, because it allows you to actually bring the outside world in. And another big thing is I would often have parents saying, oh my gosh, they want to hear the same book over and over and over again. Well, remember what I was saying, children need to hear words over and over again. So the fact that they want to hear the same book over again is brilliant. It is all perfectly natural and facilitates that all important exercise of repetition. So important for that brain development. So I kind of mentioned there about bringing the outside world in. Veronica talked earlier about how important attachment is with regards to how our children will develop relationships over their lifetime. We know that the pandemic has really impacted on children of all ages as they cannot get out and about to see lots of different people the way we normally would. Books can provide a window into the outside world at the minute. There are so many books out there, and we can read to our children and our old children about the wonderful people they will get to meet again when things slowly get back to normal. Books that help us understand how families are different and how people are different. It is such a positive thing for your child to see, what is normal. And what is normal is everything that is different, because there is no one one size fits all. These books up here are brilliant books. And if anyone wants to get in touch with us to talk about books that suit the age of their children, we are more than happy to do that. So I'm just going to now finish with how I started, where I said that bonding is the feeling of love and tenderness we have for our babies. Well, I have to say this picture, I just fell in love with it the first time I seen it. The image was captured through MRI scanning in MIT University by a neuroscientist in 2015. A neuroscientist just means that they look at the brain and how it works. And it shows here when mum kissed her child, it caused a chemical reaction releasing oxytocin. I'm sure you probably remember this from your day of giving birth and things like that there, and what oxytocin is all about. So it is the hormone that produces feelings of affection and love. This scientific image shows us how powerful affection and love is. Positive attachment and strong bonds with those we love affects our brains in the same way. So this is what's going on in our brains. It affects everyone the same way. So let your oxytocin flow, okay? And now you are going to be in for a real treat, and I'm going to hand you over to Lynn. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Well, hi everybody. I'm Lynn, and I work as a family visitor for Life Start, and I'm also a SOC facilitator. We are going to look at a video of a baby massage demonstration, It's not that terribly professional, and I don't think Spielberg is going to come looking for me anytime soon. But if you can just overlook that and enjoy the experience of the baby massage session and how you can enhance the bonding and attachment experience with you and your child. So are we, Charlene?
Yep.
You're going to click the button?
Yeah.
Hello, and thank you very much for joining us on our baby massage demonstration today. I don't think any of us are strangers to baby massage anymore. It did originate in India and has been all around the world for a good 10-15 years now. Touch is one of the ways that your baby and you can communicate with each other long before spoken word. If you think when baby was in the womb, baby felt touch, and that's how they communicated with you. It's a beautiful way to bond with your baby. It's a very relaxing experience for both mother or caregiver and daddies as well, to bond with their baby. So we're just going to start today by maybe talk about the oils first of all. The oil that we would recommend is cold compressed organic oil, but it doesn't have to be that. Normal vegetable oil from the cupboard is enough. I would tend to stay away from anything that's heavily perfumed, because that will distort the smell between you and baby. So basically, if it's good to eat, it's good enough to put on baby's skin, but stay away from maybe coconut oils, or if you think or suspect that your child may have an allergy to nuts. So we're just going to start by asking baby for permission to massage. And this is done out of respect for baby. Is it okay if we give you a wee massage today? Now, ideally, the best time to do this is when baby's in what they call a quiet alert state. That's where they're awake, but they're content and happy. And you can choose the time of day that suits best for you and baby. It could be the morning, or it could be the evening, maybe after a bath when baby's relaxed and you're relaxed as well. There's no set repetitions for the baby massage. We normally would start with the legs, because that's the part of the body that baby's most used to getting touched, getting their wee bums changed and all the rest. Okay, so we're just going to have a wee look at some of the movements. So as said, we're going to start with the legs and feet, and we're going to pick up a leg, any leg, it doesn't matter, right or left, and we're going to commence with our Indian milking, and that's just sliding from thigh down to ankle. And as I said before, there's no set repetitions, it's just whatever you feel comfortable with and whatever baby allows you to do. And then we're going to move into hug and glide. And this one, our hands are like so. And be careful not to twist the skin, because it would be sore. So we're just going to hug and glide, and hug and glide, and hug and glide, and again. And I should have said before we started that you really only need about a penny size amount of oil in the palm of your hand. Okay. And then the sole of the foot, now this is just for demonstration purposes, don't be turning your baby's leg back like this. Okay, we're just going to go thumb over thumb, on the sole of the foot. Okay. And then we're just going to move into our wee toe rolls. So big toe, and this takes in a wee bit of reflexology as well. Okay. Don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, just rolling the wee toes. And then we're going to tuck our finger in behind the toes and then at the back of the heel. And we're going to press and release. And press and release. And press and release. And then again we're just going to walk our thumbs all over the sole of the foot. And as I said, this is where it brings in a wee bit of reflexology as well. So on the foot you have the toes, the big toe is the head, and moving over you have your eyes, ears and nose. And then at the upper part of the foot, that's the chest area. So in this wee dip here, that's the stomach area. And especially good if babies are suffering from constipation or a bit crampy and windy. And so down at the heel area, that's the wee bottom. Okay, so that's just useful to know that if your baby is crampy or windy, that you can use this wee part, remember, in the dip of the foot. That's where the stomach is. So then on the top of the foot, we're just going to massage from ankle down to toes, ankle to toes, ankle to toes, just alternating our thumbs. And then we're going to do what is called the ankle circles. So that's just wee circular movements right around the ankle. And then we're going to finish this wee leg by Swedish milking, and that's where we're going from ankle up to thigh this time. Ankle up to thigh. So now we're pushing the blood back up around the heart again. Okay. And use a good enough pressure, not one that's going to be difficult or sore for baby or uncomfortable, but a good enough wee pressure. And then we're going to finish by rolling. Okay. Thank you, baby. Now we're going to try the other leg. So again, we're moving into our Indian milking. Thigh down to ankle. Thigh down to ankle. And then we're going to move into our hug and glide. So hug and glide. Thigh to ankle. Thigh to ankle. And then we're going to go sole of the foot. Remember, don't be turning baby's leg back like this. This is only for demonstration purposes. So thumb over thumb on the sole of the foot. And then into your toe roll. So again, just pinching the wee toes, each one right away across. And then our next is tuck finger in behind the toes, if you can get in, and at the back of the heel, and press and release, and press and release, and press and release. And then we're just going to walk our thumbs all over the sole of the foot. And then we're going to move on to the top of the foot. And again, from ankle down to the toes, just alternating your thumbs. And then our ankle circles again. And then our Swedish milking from ankle up to thigh. Ankle to thigh. Ankle to thigh. And finish by rolling. And then we're going to just what's called the wee bum relaxer, and I'm just going to show you like this, although you'll be doing it with baby laying flat. So we're just in at the wee buttocks and just round and circles. Okay. So we'll just gently set baby down. And hopefully by this stage baby will be nice and relaxed and sleep all night. Wouldn't that just be heavenly? So that basically is our leg routine done. Next week when we come back we'll be looking at the tummy. And this is especially good if babies are suffering from colic or wind. So I hope you have enjoyed this short session, and I'll get to see you next time when we're doing the tummy routine. And thank you so much again for joining us today.
Well, hello. I think that was really wonderful, wasn't it? So relaxing for both mother and child. I'm sure you enjoyed it all. And I want to thank Lynn, Charlene, Veronica, and Mary for a wonderful input from everyone of you this morning. I think we really enjoyed it all. Now we have a few minutes left, so I have a few questions here that people have put in. So we'll take a couple of minutes and do these. Helen asked, what is the difference between bonding and attachment? Well, attachment and bonding are both ways to describe the feelings between you and your child, but attachment has a broader meaning than bonding. Attachment is about both you and your baby. It's about building that relationships that we've talked about all morning, that serve and return kind of relationship between mother and child. And this helps, this kind of relationship builds our secure attachment, which is Veronica, Charlene and Mary have shown very well, I think this morning, is so important for children's social and emotional development, their mental health and well-being. Now, while attachment is about the relationship between you and your baby, bonding is more about you. It's about the surge of love and tenderness we feel for our babies. And as Mary, I think, really demonstrated that very well. This may occur even before your baby is born or when you first hold your baby, but sometimes it can take longer. So don't worry if it doesn't happen right away, it will come. And all the things you do, nurturing your child, the serve and return interactions you engage in, the baby massage, which Lynn so well demonstrated, this will all help establish that important bond. Attachment and bonding obviously go hand in hand, because the stronger the bond you feel for your child, the more likely your child is to form a secure attachment with you. Another question we had from Christine was, how do I know my baby is developing a secure attachment? The early signs of a secure attachment or forming are some of the parents' greatest rewards, I think. By 4 weeks, your baby will respond to your smile, perhaps with a movement, a shake of the head, or some kind of facial expression. By 3 months, your baby will smile back at you. By 4 to 6 months, your baby will turn to you and expect you to respond, especially when it's upset. And by 7 to 8 months, it will have its own special response just for you. And you'll know that and recognize it when you see it. But we need to be aware that babies also respond to our stresses, our anxieties, and our anger. Now, these are unavoidable. They happen to us all. It's how we cope with them that's the most important thing. And our children will learn to cope with these things too if they are securely attached and they feel loved and secure. Our final question comes from Cheryl. It's not really a question, but the lockdown, she says, is affecting my relationship with my 2-year-old. At the end of every day, every other day, we're both exhausted and frustrated. What can I do to help us both cope? And I think Charlene demonstrated some of the things you can do really, really well. Being confined at home with an active 2-year-old, especially in the winter months, isn't easy. It isn't easy for anybody. And it's even more difficult for some families now when parents are also trying to look after their kids and work from home at the same time. So, and exploring a 2-year-old is a handful at the best of times. And as Charlene says, establishing a routine and one that works for both you and your child can help. So it's a good idea to plan what you're going to do each day, when you're going to do it, including meals, playtimes, rest periods. Engage and structure play. Talk to your child, read to your child. All these things keep your child amused, but they also provide those important learning opportunities that we talked about today. And most importantly, they help maintain that important relationship between you and your child. As the weather gets better, try and get outside every day, at least for an hour, even every day. But remember when you're outside to keep your distance from others. When at home, you can involve your child in what you're doing. Obviously, if you're working from home, that is going to be difficult, but you can involve your child in preparing to start work and tidying up afterwards. And even involve your child in normal housework or washing the dishes, things like that. These are all learning opportunities for children, remember, and they help them learn and develop. Keep in mind that your child will respond to your anxieties, your worries, and your stresses. So try and control your own emotions. I know it's not easy, and it's always not easy to remain calm, but we can do our best. In all later webinars, we'll be talking about managing child behaviour, and we'll be making suggestions about at-home play activities that you can engage in, and some of the reading material that Mary recommended today might be useful, and we can also recommend other materials for your children. All you have to do is contact us. Cheryl also says when she asked her question, she says, every other day we end up frustrated and exhausted. But what are you doing differently on the other days where things are working better? So think about those, Cheryl. And, you know, these kind of activities where, you're obviously coping a lot better than you think you are. That's what my advice would be. So just do what you're doing, what works well for you, and keep it up. Now we had a few other questions, but we've really run out of time now. So, but if you have any questions you would like any of us on the team to answer or refer to, all you have to do is email us. You can email me at pauline@lifestartfoundation.org, and I can refer you to anybody else if you want to talk to anybody in particular. So thank you so much for joining our webinar today. It was our first one. I think we did okay. Our next one will be on the 15th of March, and it will focus on empathy and relationships. So you can watch out on our Facebook page for how to sign up. So thanks once again for attending our seminar, and thank you for all our team. And so it's goodbye from me and everybody else. Bye.